Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Professor Perzanowski, Professor Hartline says that owners of property don't have a legally enforceable right to repair that property. Do you agree with that statement?
So I take a different view here. So we can define the notion of a right in a number of ways. I don't want to bore you with property theory and talk about Hofeld and give people who went to law school terrible flashbacks. But one way to think about a right is as an affirmative power to force someone else to engage in some behavior. And in some cases, that is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about imposing, especially on the state level, regulations that impose requirements on manufacturers. I think that's true of the Repair Act on the federal level as well. But I think part of what we also need to keep in mind is that sometimes what you need to effectuate a right is to eliminate barriers that stand in the way of that right. So we can think about this, I think, helpfully in the context of tools that enable people to engage in repair. The state-level solution has been to require manufacturers to give their own tools to repair shops, sometimes compensated under fair and reasonable terms. The other solution would be to change Section 1201 to say, let's allow independent repair shops to make their own tools. I think both of those solutions have some value to them. I also think it's really important to keep in mind that when we're talking about IP rights, there are always multiple sets of interests at stake. And one of the key balances that IP law has always tried to strike is the balance between the limited statutory exclusive rights that the Patent and Copyright Acts create and the personal property rights of consumers who own these devices. And so I think a balancing is absolutely necessary and appropriate.
Well, tell me, what precisely do you recommend Congress do to limit the scope of Section 1201, which you seem to be advocating?
So I think the best solution for Section 1201 is embodied in a piece of legislation that Representative Jones and Sparks introduced in the last Congress, which would create a permanent exception to Section 1201 for repair that would apply not only to the act of circumvention, but would also apply to the creation and distribution of tools that are useful for repair purposes. That does not open the door to a sort of broad, unrestrained creation of circumvention tools, but tools that are targeted to the repair market.
Professor Hartline, what is your take on this discussion?
So I think even the cases that my friend cited, the 1850 case, the Supreme Court case in Arrow, they all make the distinction between repair, which is permissible, and reconstruction, where you actually recreate the patented device, which is not. And so it's definitely a right of IP owners to prevent other people from practicing their invention or copying their works.
Do they have a right to prevent repair of that person's property?
No. So he cited a case about where you can repair a cover on a book. That's very different than recreating the book, every single word in it, right? So there's a difference between repairing something and then crossing the line into violating the exclusive rights of IP owners in the patented product or the copyrighted book. And so the things that repair supporters are asking for is that, okay, if somebody has a design patent that covers an auto body part, well, they have the right to exclude other people from making that part. But repair supporters say they shouldn't have that exclusive right because, we could increase competition if we just took away their design patent and now other people could make that part, and so that's competition. But that's not the type of competition that IP law and competition law seek to support. That's like saying if we just let the Pirate Bay copy and distribute all of the Disney blockbuster movies, then that's competition and prices would go down. But that's not the way that we do it, right? So competition means other people come up with new products and new services. And so that's what we should be trying to support.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you.